Hello, it's Friday. So good to see you guys. Well, I think you're there. I'm imagining someone. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, and then it's just silly. So, today we are going to talk about something that so many of my patients come to ask me about is how do I lower my cholesterol? And they want to avoid medications, and sometimes they can. Sometimes medication is a supplement to lifestyle interventions, as the primary prescription is your lifestyle. Sometimes medications are needed, but we're not going to dive into that today. What we're going to talk about is what foods you should be consuming, how much of those foods you should be consuming to get the effect shown in studies. And then I want to highlight a controversial area, at least in the plant-based space, about nuts and seeds and how they are actually very beneficial for your heart health. And I'll just share the science. And I've certainly seen this effect with my patients, and I encourage them to consume nuts and seeds on a regular basis. Now, there are some caveats to that, of course, but we'll get to it. All right, so let me pull it up here. You know me and my notes. Here we go. Okay. Here it is, number one on my list, oats and barley. So these are the grains that contain a substance called beta-glucan. That's a type of soluble fiber, right? So that reduces your cholesterol absorption in the gut as it's being recycled. And so eating about 1.5 cups of cooked oatmeal or barley daily provides around what we describe as 3 grams of the beta-glucan, and that can lower your LDL by 5 to 10%. Now remember, LDL is the bad cholesterol. It's what transports cholesterol to different parts. So we want that LDL to be as low as possible. Definitely under 100 for a lifetime decreased risk, but sometimes we have to push it lower between 70 or lower than 55 or so if someone has a history of cardiac disease. So oats and barley is number one. Number two, nuts and seeds. These are Let's try that again. Back up, replay. Nuts and seeds such as almonds, walnuts, and a few other varieties. These are rich in healthy fats, guys. We can't be fat phobic. Of course, we don't want to consume too much or the wrong types of fats in the sense of like oils and different things. I'm not going to start the oil conversation, but nuts, fantastic, right? So they're also rich in fiber and in protein. So consuming about 30 grams or a handful, which is about a quarter cup, can lower LDL up to 5%. And I'm going to dive into the science behind nuts and seeds here in a minute and how it works with your cholesterol. But I just want to highlight, I can't find studies that show that they're harmful. I just can't. If someone sees a study that shows that nuts and seeds in their raw form, not roasted, salted, taste, added flavoring and whatnot is harmful, please send to me, because I have tried to do my due diligence and I can't find any that show that eating nuts in a moderate amount, if you're not overweight and over consuming to the point that you're gaining weight and because causing other things to happen, that in and of themselves are actually very healthy. Send me the studies if you have them. I'm always open to learning more and reading more. I just can't find it. So next up is beans and legumes. Beans and legumes, so delicious. These include lentils, chickpeas, black beans. There are tons high in fiber, so good for you. So eating a half a cup of cooked beans or legumes each day can reduce cholesterol by 5%. So remember, you're saying this, 5 to 10%, 5%, 5%. You're thinking, oh, 5% is not much, but this is added. What happens when you add multiple layers, right? So we've got oats and barley, nuts, beans and legumes. I'm seeing a recipe form in my head. I'll send that out in my newsletter. If you'd like to be part of the Dr. Marvis newsletter and learn more about this stuff, you get yummy recipes every week and an article, short 2 to 3 minute read, all about the science of something. And so check it out, drmarvis.com. Happy to have you. We're always so thankful for anyone who opts in to have one more thing in their email box, but I try to make it worth your while. So also, please subscribe if you haven't yet. I've been told I need to remind people, please subscribe to the channel or whatever you're listening on. Okay, next up is avocado. Yes, avocado. It's packed with what we describe as monounsaturated fiber or fats and fiber. So consuming, now this is a lot. It's a lot of calories, but one avocado daily can reduce LDL up to 8 to 10%. If you're not wanting to eat that much avocado. I wouldn't necessarily eat that. I don't know if I could eat that much because it'd fill me up, and that would be a lot. But if you did like a quarter or a fifth of an avocado, don't be afraid. You can make it part of a dressing. You can put it on a sandwich. It's delicious, absolutely delicious. I grew up in New Mexico. Avocados are a big part of my life. Mexican food, oh my heavens, absolutely delicious. Next, we're going to talk about fruits. Now, these, especially the ones high in pectin, like apples. So, part of my cholesterol lowering protocol is applesauce. And some people don't want to necessarily consume the applesauce every day, but they don't have to. But I use the applesauce to put in some other goodies, and they use it as a cholesterol lowering cocktail. But anyway, so you want apples or things high in pectin, apples, grapes, citrus fruits, strawberries, which are also very good for longevity, can help lower cholesterol due to their, again, soluble fiber content. So what you want to do is at least one of those fruits a day, and you'll see a modest reduction in cholesterol. Soy foods. Y'all been running this channel very long. You know I'm a fan of soy. Soy, especially my middle-aged self going through menopause. Soy is a friend. Soy is a woman's friend. Soy can also be a man's friend. It's great for bone health, decreases risk for breast cancer, decreases cholesterol, great sources of protein. Shall I keep going? And no, it doesn't make you have female stuff. It acts like it competes with our native estrogen. Actually, is 1,000 times less, is weaker than our native estrogen. So when it does hit a receptor, its actions are so much slower. Anyway, got off sidetracked. So what types of soy foods? Tofu, soy milk, edamame, whole soybean, tempeh. I really like, if you're looking to address menopausal symptoms and especially cholesterol, moving towards more of the whole soy, which is the whole soybean. I started adding that to my special smoothie every morning. Actually, not bad. I put about half a can. So every 2 days, we're going through a full can of whole soybeans. Eden's, you can get them on Amazon if you can't find them in your local grocery store. Whole soybeans, the edamame, which most people I'm sure have had, and tempeh, which is the kind of the fermented soybean, whole soybean. Reason being, the isoflavone compounds that are very helpful for genistein, which is very helpful for like hot flashes and different things. They're at a higher concentration in those whole soybeans, and they're decreased. They're still present in tofu and soy milk, and you certainly can make that part of your daily regimen. I do, but it's less potent. So if you're looking for the potency piece, use the whole soybean and the fermented soybean, edamame again. You can do soy curls, Butler curls, check them out. I don't get no money, but they're delicious too. So how much should you be consuming? Well, you want to consume about 25 grams of soy protein per day, which equals to about 10 ounces of tofu or 2.5 cups of soy milk. And that can reduce your LDL again by about 5%. Next one is flax seeds. Go ground flax seeds, which are also rich in isoflavones, lignans that decrease your risk for breast cancer and such. So flax seeds, these are rich in alpha linoleic acid, ALA, which is the precursor to the longer chain EPA, DHA. Your body can take that, change those into those long A, although there's some controversy on how well our bodies do that. So you may want to supplement with those preformed long chain. Maybe I'll speak to that at some point. But anyway, what happens here is they can also help lower cholesterol. You want to take about 2 to 3 tablespoons of ground flax per day, which can lower cholesterol by about 5 to 10%. It's also good for hypertension. And again, good for breast cancer reduction risk. So ground flaxseed is a winner in so many ways. Next is whole grains. Again, whole wheat, quinoa, which is actually a seed, but still brown rice. These contain more of that soluble fiber. Are you hearing that constant theme here is soluble fiber? So you want to eat about 3 servings or about half a cup each, those cooked each. And again, they can help with some modest reduction. And then garlic. Yum. Garlic is got a more modest, but regular consumption can help your cholesterol levels. You can find exactly how much, but you want to incorporate about 1 to 2 cloves fresh garlic daily. Again, you can put it in a soup or whatever. So that is a lot, 1 to 2 garlic cloves per person, but that's what the science is showing. So let me jump to the nuts and seed data real quick. Let me get my other notes. So now nuts and seeds, why are these helpful and heart healthy? Number one, you will see lipid profile improvement when you look at the science. Nuts and seeds are rich in unsaturated fats, right, which help lower your bad LDL and increase the good cholesterol, the HDL. Again, LDL is a prime driver of cardiovascular disease, but remember it's a multifactorial disease process. Inflammation is part of it, lots of things, but LDL, if you hear that LDL doesn't matter, it absolutely matters. Now, dietary cholesterol, there's some, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I'm trying to get out of here. The dietary, lost me. There we go. The dietary cholesterol, where it moves the LDL in your blood lipid panel, again, that's where the debate is. But what comes along with the dietary cholesterol from those animal products is saturated fats and things that cause inflammation. So regardless, eating animal products is not going to be helpful to your cholesterol, your cardiovascular risk. So anyway, nuts and seeds, super helpful from the standpoint of unsaturated fats. Next, you will see blood pressure reduction. And the reason is they're rich in certain minerals and vitamins. So they're rich in potassium, magnesium, and L-arginine. And this can help lower blood pressure. Yes, fantastic. Anti-inflammatory effects. They have certain components that decrease inflammation. So remember, this is multifactorial disease process. We want to decrease inflammation and LDL. So it's a double punch, boom, boom. Next, you get high antioxidants in nuts and seeds, like vitamin E, for example, flavonoids, selenium. If you want to get all the selenium you need as a Brazil nut once a week, that's all you need. If you're taking more than that, you might want to have your selenium checked because you can take almost too much as well. So again, this prevents the oxidative modification of LDL, which makes it more lethal. Weight management, I know you're like, what? Yes. So even though they're very calorically dense, moderate amounts, quarter cup for women, maybe half a cup for men, can be very, very satiating, right? So when they help decrease some of the cravings, they're high in protein, and you just feel better. I will tell you, again, this is just anecdotal, my own personal story. When I first went to a plant-based diet, I went to a very strict, very low fat, whole food plant-based diet. I didn't feel well. I didn't have as much energy. My mood was not as good. Like, this is not me. I started incorporating nuts and seeds and healthy fats, going back to my avocado. Felt like a champ. Haven't changed that since. So there you go. That's a big piece there is, again, the satiating properties. And when you're chewing raw nuts and seeds, you will find that the fecal fat, your poop, the fat in your poop actually increases because you're not absorbing all of it. Yeah. Okay. Next, glycemic control. You look up the glycemic index in nuts and seeds. Many of them are 0. So when I have diabetic patients, especially type 1 diabetic patients, I will have them consume nuts and seeds, and you will see, one, they get more energy, and you see a nice satiating effect in when you look at the CGM data, the continuous glucose monitoring data goes great. It doesn't worsen their A1C. Again, as long as we're talking to someone who is insulin sensitive, mostly in my type 1s. Now, if I have a type 2 diabetic, I still would like them to eat some nuts and seeds in moderation if they can, without overindulging. Sometimes people keep eating it and can't stop. And so now we gain weight. So that can be counterproductive. So maybe we decrease or halt that in the interim until we can get to a healthy weight. So again, it's per person. You want to make this a personalized journey, but I'm just sharing with you what I have found to be very helpful with certain types of patients, especially my kiddos that are type 1. If they're super physically active, utilizing nuts and seeds are amazing to allow them to continue and not have those hypoglycemic effects. Just throwing that out there. Next is endothelial function, right? So they can help improve the health of the lining of the inside of the arteries. And again, nitric oxide production, super amazing. So there you go. That's what the science says. Again, totally happy to share the studies that show that it's harmful. I'm happy to read them. But from what I can find, it's only been nothing but beneficial in the context of a healthy weight and someone who's not overindulging, but they're also usually indulging in ultra processed foods and other things. So I hope you found that helpful. Please click below, subscribe. Next week, we're hoping next week that we launch our next course I've spent many months working on. I ran 3 beta groups to make sure that I was addressing the information. And it's called Master Your Metabolism and Lose Weight. But you also get improvement, of course, in your cholesterol and your blood sugars. You get a CGM, lifelong, monthly, free coaching with myself in a group setting. And yeah, you get a 150-page ebook. You get a workbook. I've detailed everything. There's a meal plan. There's calculations. Oh my heavens. Anyway, I just kept going. I couldn't stop adding. It's like, okay, Lori, it's going to have to halt. So I gave you the most crucial things that you would need to make changes in your life. So be on the lookout. Again, check out drmarvis.com. Join the email list. I really try not to spam your mailbox. I really want to be grateful and show gratitude for anyone, again, like I said, opting in to allow me to invade their mailboxes. I know many of us get so much in their emails now these days. But anyway, appreciate you again as being here. Have a happy, blessed Friday and rest of your weekend. As always, thank you for being here. And I'm sending you love, joy, peace, healing, and abundance. Because again, we need more of that in our life every single day. So go spread some kindness this weekend. You guys have a great weekend. And thanks again for being here. Bye.